Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at WagerTalk.com. All daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including $40 5% best bets. As an added bonus, all new users will receive $25 in wager bucks credited to their accounts, available for immediate use after their initial $9 Monday purchase. So make sure to take advantage of $9 Mondays at WagerTalk.com.
It is $9 Monday. We are live right here on WagerTalk TV. Welcome back to Puck Time. I am Andrew, joined by Carmine and Bianco as usual. And Carm, one question for you, man. Series tied 2-2. I literally have, my voice is lost from not yesterday, the day before, from celebrating so much. Still haven't gotten it back. Do you still believe one team should have been minus 500 in that series, Montreal and Vegas?
Good morning, Andrew. How you doing
Good
today?
morning.
You feeling good?
Not very good. It was a crazy weekend, man. I'll be honest. Can you hear my voice? Do you hear that?
Someone Uber Eats this guy a few espressos. He's going to need them today because it might have been a long night for him. But it's all good. Listen, let's give the Canadians credit where credit is due. They're playing a textbook series thus far. Unfortunately, it's tied at 2. It could have gone either way last night. And I know if you're reading social media, some of the stuff is a little outrageous from, sort of the diehard fans that, Bettman this and Bettman that, and he wants Vegas to win. Let's all agree on one thing and one thing only. The refereeing in the playoffs as a whole has been absolutely horrendous. This is something that happened during the regular season, and until it gets better, this is what it's going to be: missed calls, putting away the whistle. Putting away the whistle is something that used to happen in the 80s and 90s when they wanted teams. If a game got to overtime or late in the third period, the refs didn't want to decide it. They put the whistle away. By putting it away, you're actually deciding it when you're not calling a penalty. The refereeing has been absolutely horrendous in this series and in the playoffs. And unfortunately, Montreal has been on the wrong end of those bad calls. But this has nothing to do with who the league wants in the finals or not. So get that conspiracy theory stuff out of the way. But should they be minus 500? Absolutely not. I've said, Andrew, they're playing the Vegas Golden Knights the same way they played the Toronto Maple Leafs during the last 3 games of that series, the way they played the series against the Winnipeg, where they looked like the better team on the ice. There was a point where I think Vegas only had 4 shots on goal in the first period. They're just closing down every opportunity for any offensive flow from the Vegas Golden Knights. This series is far from over. So 3 games to play, and I'd love nothing better than to see a game 7 here.
Me too. I'll be completely honest though, Carm. I'm not one of those guys that says anything about Gary Bettman or the NHL. I think those takes are kind of ridiculous. I would rather target a specific referee like Chris Lee. But let's be honest, there's also plays that Montreal are making, like a cross check from Joel Edmondson that could have been called as well. So it's not like it's just one way. But for me, I just hate watching those videos where the referee is literally next to the play and doesn't, it looks the other way, ignores it, doesn't say anything to it. That's what kind of bugs me the most. But it's been a great series. And again, Carm, I'll say this to you, and I said it to Prev last week on the show. I still keep on saying this, but why not just bet the under in every playoff Hab game? I've done it sometimes. I've bet the first period under sometimes, but every single time you have a pretty good spot with 2 great goaltenders, a great goaltender in Carey Price, and the way the Montreal Canadiens are playing, you have a pretty good wager there looking at the under in that. But one thing I want to mention, I hope all of you guys listened. I mentioned this wager on Puck Time. Over 5.5 games in the series. It was a 4% play for my clients. I mentioned it on this show. That cashes. Series is tied 2-2. Has to get to at least 6 games. So the over 5.5 cashes for the series total. Let's jump into tonight's game, though, guys. New York Islanders and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Minus 190 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. Islanders plus 160. The puck line is -1.5, plus 155. The other way, the plus a puck and a half is -185. And the total sits at 5. Islanders coming off that 3-2 victory at home. Now we go back to Tampa Bay here. What are your thoughts, Car? I mean, this has been a really close series. It's been very entertaining, great goaltending. I mean, I know we're so late in the playoffs and it's hard to really see any team being here without having great goaltending. But a lot of people are comparing the Islanders to the Canadiens and kind of how they play and their defensive mindset and their goaltending and the way their defensemen box out so well. But what do you think's been the key to the Islanders' success?
They're playing the Barry Trotz style of hockey. It, he's so effective in the playoffs with this style. You just shut down the good players on a team, and we're seeing it in both series. You shut down the first and second lines, or you contain them as much as you can, and you give yourself a chance to win. This is why the Islanders are in this series. This is why we're tied at 2-2. The price, while you're going to like Tampa, or people love Tampa, and they're such a great home team, and Vasilevsky at home, it's still such a tight series that I just can't understand the -190 lines. I
I
think it
know.
should probably be somewhere to the -150 to -160 range. I just want to touch quickly on something that I talked about on Friday's show with Andy Lang, and talking about these fives. Every total so far through these semifinal games, 8 games, 4 in each, in each series. The total has been 5 each and every time. And we talked about how during the regular season, taking the over 5s was a profitable one. I said on Friday's show, I just don't see how you can take some of these 5s. You got to go under, because there's just not a lot of goals. 8 games thus far, 1 game has gone over 5. There's been 4 pushes that obviously landed on 5, 3 unders. The only game that went over was that 4-2 second game of the series, Islanders and Tampa, where and Tampa got a goal with about 3 minutes left for that 4-2 final margin. These teams are just so tight, but they hang that 5 over -130, and you just think it's just too attractive to take it. And we should be looking at the unders. I said on Friday's show, this is the series where I would probably look at just taking the unders the rest of the series and stay away from the sides. I'm not laying $1.85 with Tampa, even if I thought they were going to win tonight. I'm not going to lay that number. But it's such a great series. I'm going to look at likely some prop bets along the way. But as far as where my lean here is, I'm not taking a side, Andrew. I'm going to lean on the under. And for those guys who say, "Oh, just pick a team," I'm not going to pick a team. I'm not going to lay $1.90. It's just not going to happen. So I'll go with the under here.
Well, I find it funny, Carm, because I'm one of the ones that have said this, but all of us really believe that an under and Islanders victory were kind of correlated, right? And Tampa Bay was more correlated to the over. That's what everybody said. That's what we kind of figured. If it was going to be a higher scoring game, that would benefit the Tampa Bay Lightning. But if we look at it on this series so far, we've seen them win a low scoring game. They won 2-1. They are not only going to win high scoring games. Let's not forget how great Vasilevsky has been for his team, and what he's done for them. So that's what I find so interesting about this Tampa Bay Lightning team that I think's made them so successful, that when you look back at the stats for even last year's Stanley Cup playoff run, how we're talking about the magic number for the Canadiens being 3, the magic number was almost 4 for the Tampa Bay Lightning. If they scored 4 goals, they won a game. Now they're proving they can win games scoring just 2 goals. But as far as that price goes at -180, it's just not something that I'm trying to look at. There's not something I'm trying to approach. But the funny thing is, though, usually I would look for like bounce back spots for teams off lopsided losses. But this isn't even that type of loss. It's a 1-goal loss. They get to go back home. It's a split for them. I do think they could come back out on top. But again, I think that with these 5s as the total, Carm, and I know I just said the Tampa Bay could win a game 2-1, but I truly do believe that you're getting 2.5 on both teams, right? For the team total. If you take the team total over 2.5 for them, you're not getting -180. So you're eliminating a 1-0 or a 2-0 or 2-1 for Tampa. But if they score 3 goals, you're reaching that team total. You're getting a better price and you're winning your wager. And 2 games ago, I was on the Islanders team total, and it was on this show. I mentioned it. I lost. Last time around, they hit that magic number of 3, and they go ahead and end up winning the game, and it was actually plus money. So I think that's actually a pretty good outlook on this game, trying to avoid a play like that, and not having to deal with the minus 180 full game, especially if your book doesn't offer you that wager of looking at the regulation and stuff like that, or even creating the -1. I wanted to ask you, because I've been doing this with the Montreal Canadiens. It's kind of the odds are really bad now for a Carm, so there's kind of no point in me doing it. But they're not great either for this bet. But -165 ish is what I'm seeing for the Islanders. It's double chance in the first period to either tie or win the first period. Would you ever look at a half bet on them to win the period and then to tie the period? Or is that something that you would kind of just look for with just money lines in the full game?
No, normally like money lines in the full game. You know what I mean? Like when you're sort of taking this the conversation to like the first period, I thought we might be talking about like the first period under. The first period under
Mhm.
is 1.5 goals minus 140 on the under. Only one of the games has gone over the total in the first period. That was that 4-2 game, which was game 2 of this series. Here, every other game has stayed under the total, as have the actual game totals. And with your point to like team totals, the Islander, they're obviously expecting, and given the line on the game, which is minus 185 and 190, they're expecting the a Tampa win. But you look at the team totals, the team total for the Islanders over 2.5 goals is plus 145. It's over 1.5 is minus 215. That might not even get there in one of these two. If it's one of these 2-1 games that they seem to be playing, it's a little different with Tampa. Over 2.5 goals is minus 190. That's a lot of vig, Andrew, to lay in a game where even if you think Tampa's going to win, again, it's a ton of vig to lay on them scoring 3 goals in a game in a series that's been extremely tight. So uh, I'm leaning again to the under. I just think at plus money, I'd rather take it. Everything thus far in the two series have been under-related games. Like I said, 4 pushes, 3 unders. If taking that 5 under total, it's something that is completely different than what we saw early on or during the regular season and early on in the playoffs.
Well, I checked out Puck Time with you and Andy Lang, and he loves the unders for props. He loves the unders for a lot of things and a lot of different sports. And I think that if you ask a lot of people at WagerTalk, Carm, they would tell you, and we hate to use this term, but the general recreational bettor does not want to cheer on an under. Who wants to sit down and
No,
watch a boring game, right? Nobody. Even in soccer,
no,
I guarantee you there's been more
yeah.
tickets printed on over 2.5 than under 2.5 this Euro Cup.
Yeah, no, and I get it. Nobody wants to, and books know that. They know that. Let's switch sports for a quick second. NFL on Sundays. Most recreational bettors are not turning on TV and watching the primetime game and betting the under and saying, "Okay, let's hope that this is a 3-and-out and punt." They
Mhm.
want to see points scored. It's the same betting. Switching over to soccer, it's the same in soccer. And not to go off on a tangent, Andrew, but I've got to mention this just because it goes at noon today. I posted on Twitter about a Euro game today. The draw in the game. Okay, this is the final game in the group stage between Ukraine and Austria. The draw is plus 100. Some books have it at minus 105. This is a price that is usually plus 280 or higher. And the reason being is a draw for both teams gets them into the next round, which is the knockout stages of the playoffs. One team losing will eliminate that team. You never see a price like this. I'm not saying it's going to end in a draw, but every single statistical betting number in that match the books have adjusted for this game ending in scoreless or 1-1 draw. So back to hockey.
Yeah, very cool though,
And this
Carmen. It
game.
goes to show there's a reason why those numbers are there. I mean, there's a reason behind the madness, a reason why that price is the way it is, and like you just explained. And let's see if it comes in fruition. Let's see if it happens. Let's see if the teams play conservatively. Are you looking for more of like a 0-0, or do you think it'll be a 1-1? I'm assuming, knowing you're probably gonna have some props on the game too.
I do. I just took some exact scores. 0-0 was plus 300, plus 375 on a 1-1 game. Yeah, the total is listed at 2. Totals are normally not 2 when these two teams are playing. So it's something I'm used to seeing in the Italian second division leagues, where the last 3 weeks of the season, some of the draws are minus 150, 160. It's absolutely insane. And there's no shots registered in 90 minutes of play. So it's not a game you want to watch, because it's not going to be very exciting, as I can see. But if there's money to be made, we make it.
Yes, sir. Well, speaking of looking at some under spots and total spots, I do have one for tonight, Carm, and it's one that I've been looking at over the past couple of weeks. And I remember, to everybody out there, if you can't bet this prop, your book probably has goalie save props. So look that way as well. But this is kind of where I'm going with the home team shots under 31.5 in favor of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Look, what we're starting to see, Carm, is even teams like Las Vegas or Tampa Bay, when they're being successful and having winning nights, it doesn't mean they're putting up a boatload of shots. It means that they found the back of the net, right place, right time. They might have outplayed, but also, I didn't always used to be an analytical guy, but the Corsi numbers and the high chances are huge to mention, because 2 games ago for the Montreal Canadiens series, Vegas absolutely outshot them. And it's becoming my new favorite thing people say on Twitter. Wow, this team outshot them by nearly double or triple. The high dangerous scoring opportunities were 13-10 in that game in favor of Vegas. So a shot on goal doesn't really mean anything. And I think, as much as people say put the puck on the net, some of these teams are realizing, when you're playing teams like the Islanders or even the Canadiens that are so defensive, you have to get a dangerous scoring opportunity and not just an average shot. So I'm looking at Tampa Bay under 31.5 shots for their entire team combined. No player individual props, just their entire team combined under 31.5 shots. Is there any props that stand out to you, Carm? I mean, look at the player goal props here. Kucherov plus 160, Point plus 160, Stamkos plus 190, Killorn plus 235. I look at Matthew Barzali's plus 265, Jordan Eberle plus 290. Those are pretty, 2 good prices there. If you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, those guys are skilled and they're priced reasonably, but plus 160 in a playoff game where you can kind of see a mixed bag of goals, to me, is kind of hard to bet here.
Yeah, if you look at last night and this morning, I went through all 4 games and just looking to see if there was any trend as far as like player shot props that stood out, and there really isn't. There's not a lot of the shots are spread out through the lineup. There's not a lot of guys registering the 4, 5, 6 shots on goal in these games, and this is why you're seeing a lot of these player prop shots at minus or sorry at 1.5, and they're juiced. One, you look at someone like Brock Nelson, 1.5 shots minus 200. You can't take those ones, and there's some that are at 2.5 but juiced to the under, like a Jordan Eberle. That's under 2.5 is minus 180. It's all you're seeing. If you look at the 4 games that they've played thus far, you're seeing player in the stat section, players with 1 shot on net, 2 shots on net, and it's all you're seeing. You'll find the occasional person with 3, 4 shots on net, and then you'll look at the other games in the series, and they had 1 or no shots on goal. It's a series that has been absolutely tight. A lot of block shots, not a lot of shots on goal, and this is why we're seeing these numbers of 2, 2.5, or 2, 2.5, and 1.5. Andrew.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if I was looking at a shot prop total or even a point prop total for some of these guys, I'd probably be looking down the lineup, looking for some unders, but that's the only one I really have going. And that is my best bet on the show. That's what I'm going to roll with for my best bets. So I'll go to you, Carm, to let us know what your best bet you're going to roll with. If you do have one, obviously it's only one game. Don't force it, Carm, but maybe a lean for us, and let us know what you have up for action.
Yeah, well, obviously, I talked about the Euros today. 4 games, 2 of them at noon, 2 at 3 o'clock. You can get those up at WagerTalk for only $9. And as far as this game goes, my play is what I told you guys on the show it's going to be. So no need to go over to WagerTalk and buy it. I'm taking the under in this game. As far as props, Andrew, for the show, I'm going to go right back to and hope that I can get that power play prop that I've been playing for most of the playoffs with Tampa Bay. And I'm going to take Victor Hedman to register a point on the power play. And he's plus money. He's ranging from plus 150 to plus 160 at different books. So that's the prop I'm going to take as far as the our show best bet.
Carm, I think you might get hired soon as for a playoff, power play specialist coach or something like that. Like you're just predicting these teams, who's going to come out and score on the power play, who's going to get a point. I mean, I'm sure the Vegas Golden Knights could use you as a power play coach right now. A lot of teams could use you, maybe.
What I'd like to do is open up a school for taking penalties at the Euros and in Europe, because there have been like 9 penalties in the Euros thus far. 5 of them have been misses, and 3 of them have affected me. So I'm not really thrilled about that. It's like you got this big net, just get it on goal. He's
Carm, I
likely
had a
going to guess
5%
the
pick,
wrong
man.
way anyway.
I had a
But
5% pick on the weekend. Poland missed
yeah,
their
and
penalty kick.
yes, the guy who missed it, Gerard Moreno. He's a Villarreal player in Spain. He missed the penalty kick for Spain, and I had him plus 130 to score a goal in that game. So that penalty kick not only hurt you, but it hurt me as well.
It's tough to watch, but it's part of the job. It's part of gambling. We'll be back at it today. I do have a 4% play going in the MLB tonight. Every single play at WagerTalk is just $9. Power plays on the screen. You guys can find them. Carmine again, looking at Hedman over a half power play point, plus 150. You get some great odds on that if you add in that power play aspect on the points, and plus 150. And I have the Lightning under 31.5 shots, minus 125. Thank you guys so much for watching and tuning in. We'll have Buster Sports on tomorrow. And on behalf of Carmine and Bianco, I'm Andrew McInnis. We'll see you guys right here on WagerTalk TV.
Sign up for the free WagerTalk Text Club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.